Well, hello, and welcome to the first installment of Red King Gaming's Fiend Portfolio. See what I did there? You see? You get it? You get it. So, let's get right into it here. What are we discussing today? Skeletons. And why am I discussing these poor creatures? Because nobody gives them the respect they deserve. Oh, these poor things. Nobody loves them. They're the laughing stock of the dungeoneering world. I mean, you've seen it time and again. Group comes across a few skeletons and, okay, there's a few skeletons. Let's just let the barbarian bash them to pieces. I mean,
for just 2 silver pieces a day, the price of a gallon of ale, you can help these poor creatures get back on their feet and lead normal, healthy lives.
I mean, really, this is what it's come to? And why are they treated this way? Well, I mean, aside from, perhaps, the way Ash treated them in Army of Darkness.
Or that really humiliating scene in Scary Movie.
I would say it's, lazy casters. So, how exactly did it come to this? Well, let's take a look at the notes. If we go back to first edition, where they make their first appearance, surprise, we find they have a hit dice of 1. A measly 1. And this trend seems to continue on through the rest of the editions. Towards some of the later editions, it appears they get a little more enhanced, get a little more of a boost, but overall, now they're highly ineffectual. It doesn't help that most they ever seem to give them is a sword, maybe a shield. Occasionally you see them with a bow. It's, not the most helpful. So, how can we go about wronging this right? You know what I mean. Let's start with taking a look at exactly what it takes to get one of these guys. And, it's rather simple. It's right in the player's handbook. Looks like a pretty low-level spell, Animate Dead. Now, it says you can use it for skeletons or zombies, but we're talking about skeletons. So why would I even mention zombies? That doesn't even make sense. We're talking about skeletons. So the spell calls for a few simple pieces, primarily just some bones and some words and some herbs and maybe something that smells nice in the air to freshen up the bones and ensure they don't smell too good. So anyway, once you've created one, you can make it follow, you can make it stay. I imagine you can make it sit, roll over, and play dead, but that last one's a little redundant, I think. And that's about all there is that they really give you. Which means there's plenty of wiggle room. Let's talk size and configuration. So, some of the editions talk about large skeletons, and in places like Ravenloft, you even have gigantic ones. And they're actually kind of cool, if they weren't trying to kill you. The question they don't answer is, can you configure them in multiple combinations? For instance, in Ravenloft, you have a spell of Bone Golem, which is an amalgamation of multiple skeletal remains. But I'm thinking on a larger scale, perhaps a bone wall? Why couldn't you take an entire cemetery of skeletons and put them all together in a gigantic wall and then make that wall alive? Surround your place with it. Sure, it's a little eerie and you're going to need air freshener, but it'll keep the neighbors away. Now, if you look at the description, you see the number appearing, and it's not the highest of numbers, 30 to 30, somewhere in that range. It differs a little, but well, there doesn't appear to be a limit as to how many times you can cast the spell, how many of these things you can raise. You give even a low-level wizard enough time. Another thing you'll find absent from most every manual discussing skeletons is what exactly can be equipped on them. Sure, you can put armor on them, you can put weapons in their hands, but can you not put magical weapons in their hands? Can you not put magical armor? Amulets, rings, boots, belts, girdles? What? Maybe they have body image issues. The same applies with offensive and defensive spell work, or buffs, as the kids are saying these days. These additions don't seem to be ruled out in any of the manuals, which means you could take a common garden variety skeleton and turn it into Rambo. No, really. Think about it. If you put jump on it, if you give it an amulet of free fall, if you give it any number of the right combination of magic items and spells placed upon it, it could be an extremely formidable foe. Now, here's another little gem from the vault of ideas. All my idea. The bones, before the spell is cast, are just bones, and can be laid anywhere, carried anywhere, say for instance in a canvas bag, and then you could simply place it somewhere, cast the spell, and walk away, essentially making a skeleton bomb. You could drop them through holes, you could throw them down corridors, you could leave them anywhere in ear and eye shot, and have an instant army waiting to spring up. Let's discuss normal combat with a skeleton. As we're all familiar, piercing is pretty much out of the question, unless you're going for a called shot. Even then, bone is pretty tough to break. Then you've got your slashing weapons, your sabers, your broadswords, your scimitars. These can usually cause some damage, but quite often it's hit or miss. No. When facing skeletons, the main go-to is, other than your cleric, is your bludgeoning weapons, your smashing weapons, your clubs, your maces, your flails, oh my. But what happens when you have an armored zombie? Maces, flails, warhammers, these are meant to crush armor and bend it in onto an opponent, but it's a skeleton. It has no skin, has no nerves, doesn't feel anything, so you're just kind of wrapping the armor around it tighter, making it harder to get a solid, successful hit. And now, some of the more creative ideas I have come up with. Yes, I did, Jeremy. Let's talk infection. These are bones. Depending on how old they are, they may still have meat, bacteria, grime, filth, Lord knows what, caked in them. One good scratch, and without penicillin, which I don't even know if they have, you could be dead. Now let's try another approach, as has been made popular apparently on a current television show, I've been told. But smelting has been around a lot longer than television, believe me. Now what if you were to take your skeleton army and dip them a vat of molten iron, or copper, or bronze, or even steel, anything of the sort? Now they become very, very dangerous. And of course, saving the best for last, I have my own genuine little wonderful creation. Take a cat, take a rat, animate that skeleton, and dip them in poison. A skeleton rat, or cat, even a skeleton snake, covered in poison, and get into most any place and take out a player. I mean an NPC. Well, that should about wrap it up for the first, and hopefully not the last, of the Fiend portfolio. Yeah, trademarks and copyrights. Yeah, I get it. Well, until next time, this is the Red King.
Happy hunting.